Hot 105.7 Montgomery's number one for hip hop and R&B. Your boy DJ Trey still hanging out with your Hot Boy Radio, and we still have Mayor Stephen Reed on the line. Now, Mayor, in Virginia, they are removing a statue of Robert E. Lee. What prompted the removal of the Robert E. Lee monument from Lee High School right here in our city? Did the city remove it or did the community remove it? And is there plans to remove others?
Yeah, so the city did not do that. That was done by four individuals who I think, that was their expression of a protest or what they have, seen in this community. And it has been talked about for a number of years. That's been discussed about, removing that statue, changing the names of various schools. So we've had, those discussions, and I think people just decided to take that account into their own hands. As it relates to the city, we're trying to do some research on, what is on city property. If it's not on city property, let's say it's on state property, there's not anything that we can do through the city mechanism. Now, we can petition the state legislature and some of those folks to address those issues there that are on state grounds. And so we're trying to do some research to see what's on city grounds and then how to move along as it relates to what those monuments or markers may be, and then what to do about that.
Okay, so let's back up to COVID-19. Now, you made it clear that you felt Alabama was not ready to reopen. In Montgomery, at first, it was kind of like slow over here, and then Montgomery recently turned into a hot spot. Do you think that comes from reopening the state?
I do. I had someone ask me on another interview whether or not I thought my comments made things worse. I said, no, my comments were because things had gotten worse.
Okay.
So, it got worse, I think, because we stopped social distancing. A lot of people saw positive stories of recovery and just kind of said, well, hey, it's not a fatal virus. I don't have to do some of this other stuff. But in fact, we know it is fatal, and we saw almost a 400% increase from April to May. And that is problematic when you consider many underlying health issues that many Black people have in this part of our community, this part of the state, and also the lack of access to quality health care presents an issue. So it strains our healthcare system, it strains those medical professionals. And what we were trying to do, and still are, is to kind of sound the alarm to let people know we're not out of the woods yet. We haven't won the battle with COVID-19, and we need people to wear masks when in public, to stay at home as often as they can, and then certainly to follow those guidelines that have been handed down by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. If we do that, then listen, I was ready to open up May 1st. I was ready to open up June 1st. We really need to get the city back going because the city depends on tax revenue, tax dollars to fund our services and our programs. And without that, you can't do it at the level that we want to do it. So I want to see the numbers go down faster than anybody. And hopefully we can get to a level where at least we're starting to see those numbers come down somewhat so that we can get things back up and going.
Okay, you just brought up wearing masks, and I was going to ask about a mask mandate because I've been hearing rumblings of you implementing that right here in our city. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, let me tell you what happened with that. I'm glad you asked that question. So with the mask mandate, I plan to propose it Tuesday at the council meeting, but I didn't have the votes to pass it. So I did not introduce it because I wasn't close enough and I couldn't persuade some of those city councilmen who weren't for it to be for the mandate. And what I told them was, I'm not going to introduce it this week, which was just on Tuesday night, but I may introduce it at the next council meeting, and if it gets voted down, it gets voted down if we don't see those numbers start to level off. Because some wanted me to wait a little while longer to see if the numbers would level off in terms of new COVID cases, and others didn't think government should tell people, really what to do. But, government is not looking to tell people what to do as much as it is trying to provide some guidelines and some guardrails for ways to keep us safe and for ways to move us along in our progress with this virus. But I didn't have the votes, and so I didn't present it before the council. But if it keeps going the way it's going, we don't see it getting a little better, then I may come right back with it at a future meeting.
Well, Mayor Reed, we thank you again for giving us a call and reaching out to the community. Anytime you have a message to get out, we're just one call away right here at iHeart. That's Hot 105.7, Magic 97.1, Hallelujah 104.3. We thank you again.
Hey, thank you all. Thanks for all the support, and really shout out to the community for weathering a health crisis that we haven't seen in a century, and then dealing with civil unrest with passion, with peace, and with purpose. My hat's off to everybody in Montgomery for how they've handled this, and we'll get through it together. We'll come out better on the other side. I'm sure about that.